Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you again for joining me. Today we are going to get kind of a hot one today. As some of y'all probably know, if you've seen my short, if you've seen my reels, or either here on YouTube or on my Instagram, I kind of made a little bit of a noise about Lumix releasing their latest firmware that allows the ARRI LogC3. And it's not really a knock against them for doing it. I'm happy that that is available, but it's the way that Lumix has approached this marketing thing that has really honestly rubbed me the wrong way. And I don't want to go on a rant on how I've just viewed this whole marketing campaign around the S12 and the S1 and all these new bodies, which quite frankly, I find that these are really good products. And if they fit you, you should. But the messaging behind this latest one with the firmware update with ARRI LogC3 is the fact that this is the camera that this is going to destroy all other cameras. This Sony, Canon, all these other camera companies, they're in trouble. Nikon's in trouble because now there's ARRI LogC3. And by the way, all of this, if you get this, if you pay 160, I think it's 160 American US dollars. Or like 170 euros, if I remember correctly. This is all actually could be done completely free. And it's not, exclusive only to Lumix or Lumix's latest cameras. You literally can have any camera that you ever want match an ARRI Alexa. And today I'm going to show you that. Now, I actually tried to get one of these latest Lumix cameras, but unfortunately they were not available. And also the rental houses that are in the Philadelphia area, they didn't have them. Not only they didn't have them, they told me specifically that they're not having any interest in getting these cameras anytime soon, which should say a lot. But that, I'll go more into that in probably another video. Today, I'm actually going to show what I sort of teased back last week, which that I'm going to take a Sony FX3, a camera that everybody has just like crapped on as having poor color science. At the end of the day, these are all digital cameras, meaning they are computers that just have a bunch of zeros and ones. If you understand the pipeline and understand how it works, you can literally make anything look like anything. You just have to know what you're going through. And that's what I'm going to do today, because you could actually do this all completely free right here inside Davinci Resolve. And I'm not even talking about the studio version. You could do this on the free version as well, if you guys are interested in doing that. I want to go over sort of the things that I did to get the cameras to line up. So first of all, I want to give a big shout out to Lightbulb Rentals here in Philadelphia. They were able to provide me a space as well as the ARRI Alexa Mini for me to match my cameras to the ARRI Alexa or do a comparison. So they provided the ARRI Alexa Mini as well as the lens that I put on all three of these cameras, which is the legendary Canon FD lens that has been rehoused in sort of the cinema line setup. I basically used the 55mm lens of the Canon FD, and I used that one lens on all three of the cameras. And the reason I'm doing this is because I'm going to do my best to take out as much variables as possible when you're taking matching. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and let's dive right in. So you'll see right here that we have a few options. So also, I guess this would be a good time to sort of answer, well, which camera was which in the reel. If camera A was actually the Blackmagic Cinema Camera 6K full frame, the B camera was the ARRI Alexa Mini, and the C camera was actually the Sony FX3. If you want, you can take a look at them, see how well I did, how I was, and also for those of you, if you guys stay to the end of the video, I actually got a nice little surprise for you all. So keep tuning in and watch. I'm going to go through what essentially the path that I went to. First of all, I got to start off with into the project settings, because really this is where everything kind of starts. This is the first stage. And that is sort of why I've sort of been bothered by this marketing campaign by Lumix. Because one of the key arguments that so many people have made is, well, yes, you could do a color space transfer, but it's not the same. You know, the engineers have worked really well to get it. And while the statements are all true, it's also very misleading, because literally that is what Davinci Resolve does. Davinci Resolve is designed to create a color pipeline that you can seamlessly go through the entire thing. Actually, I should go to the timeline settings. So let me find the timeline. So here, if we go to the timeline settings and we go to the color output, what I have done is basically, if you want to do this, just the key thing is that you have to get the color space pipeline correctly. And this is an easy setup. You can either do this in the project, or you could do it like I do here, which is I'm going to do it at a timeline base. Right now, I'm going through YRGB. I'm not going through YRGB Color Manage because that takes away a lot of the control for me. And in this case, I want as much control of the pipeline as possible. And then the timeline color space this is the first key part that you want to make sure. You want to set this to ARRI LogC3, because this is essentially telling Davinci, take whatever footage that we have here and treat it like it's an ARRI Alexa in ARRI LogC3. And so essentially what the sensor that's in the S12 and the S1R2 and the S1E that allow you to get that ARRI LogC, it's essentially doing the same thing, but obviously you're going to have to take the log profiles of your camera and convert it to this, which again, it's a very simple process to do. But this is sort of the point that I'm trying to make. But as long as you're in this timeline color space, Davinci's going to remap all the controls to make it behave as if you were working with an ARRI Alexa camera. And this is completely camera agnostic. So it doesn't matter what camera you put in it. As long as you start by setting that timeline color space to ARRI LogC3, this is going to be. The next thing is going to be your output. And the color output is all about your display, the display that you're going to. So I put it at Rec. 709 Gamma 2.4. That is the broadcast standard. And also, this is the color space that majority of monitors that are out there that are in. You can always check what monitor or color space that you're in, that your monitor is, by just going to the settings and sort of seeing what is the color output. But you could choose this. You could choose DCI-P3, or you want to choose another color space that your monitor has. That's cool. But just as long as you need to know what your color space is. I've set my monitor to Rec. 709, so this is the setup that we're going to go. And also, another thing, especially because we're going to be basically converting these into a LUT so you can use these on your cameras, in the project settings, there is one more thing that you should be aware of, and that is the fact that in the color management, there is a part that's 3D lookup table tetrahedral. Now, you want to do it here because this will provide a more color accurate representation of your LUTs when you put these into your monitors. So set it to tetrahedral. This first clip that we have here is the ARRI Alexa. And I want to just say right now, I've pretty much have not done anything to this. I have pretty much not done anything to this. All I have literally done with this is go to the LUT page and went to the ARRI thing and pulled out the ARRI Alexa to Rec. 709 LUT that is inside Davinci Resolve. That is literally all I have done. And this is pretty much what it is. And if I let's see, we'll go to viewer so you can see it full screen. This is, so this is sort of the setup right here. Now, if we go to the next one, this is the Sony FX3. And I am going to actually remove it because we don't really need all this. And I'm going to reset all of this. I'm going to reset all this. And then all I'm going to do is create some nodes. So I usually leave a node just open to to the beginning, which we're going to need anyway. And then I'm going to create a couple parallel nodes, because what we want to do is we want to work with the, well, we're going to want to work with as much of the original footage as possible. So, and I'm going to label these, but we'll get to that in a second. So I'm going to have four nodes right here. So I'm going to 4 parallel nodes. And then the next one I'm going to do is have one more node here. And then I'm going to have another node that I'm going to create another parallel node. And I'm going to explain all of these at the end. And then this last node right here is going to be where the LUT is going to be applied here. So we're going to drop the LUT here, and we'll go to the viewer. There is some differences, and if I pull up the still, here's the reference. So viewer, that's this. So this is the FX3, this is Sony. So there's quite a bit of a differences. So we got some things that we need to work on. And well, the first thing we're going to do is going to go to the second one. Again, I like leaving one open just in case I may need to do a tweak. But here we're going to put, and we're going to label this our CST. So this is going to be where we're going to use the color space transform so we can let Davinci know, hey, this is a Sony FX3. So we're going to take slog3, sgamut.cine. We're going to go to slog3, and we're going to go to our color space, which is ARRI gamut 3 and ARRI LogC3. Now that we've done that, I'll pull this up again. Let's go to full view. And this is much better. We're getting closer, but we're still way far. There's quite a significant amount of differences, but we're going to get it. And now we're going to get to these parallels. So this first set of parallels is really just trying to get our balances and everything correct. So first things first, I'm going to try to, and the reason why I'm doing a parallel is because I want to make micro adjustment decisions, but while working with your visuals without having the other effects that I have affecting my changes nearly as much. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to balance. So we are going to go into our primaries. So this one is going to be primary. We're going to make this label primaries. And essentially all we're going to do is we're going to try to get our whites and our blacks leveled similarly. Because as you can see right here, as we wipe, the levels are not entirely the same. So we're going to just basically pull our whites up to where it's lined in. And then we're going to get our blacks sort of roughly where we want to. And we're going to adjust the midpoint. Again, we're trying to just get a foundation set up. So if we go to view and we go to the wipe, you can see we're much closer. But again, we're not entirely there yet. So the next node we're going to do is going to be our balance. Now, the way you're going to balance this is going to be differently. I prefer to work in this in a linear space. And the reason why is because this will give me working with the camera and how the camera was designed for, which will help me do better at matching the whites and the blacks and how they were supposed to be. And I'm doing this right now, and I'm going to try to do my best to get the skin tones correct. But really, this is me trying to just get the balance of the white balance to replicate what the ARRI. Again, I'm not trying to get a technically correct white balance. I'm trying to get the balance. I'm trying to get the color balance look and behave similar to the ARRI Alexa. So with that, we're going to label this our balance. And I'm going to go here, and I'm going to go to our gamma, which is right here. and I'm going to change the gamma to linear. That does two things. One, when we go to our, when we turn on our offset, when we go adjust our temperature and tint, as you will see, it changes things on a more, almost like it's closer to like how changing the nodes, the color space in the camera. Oh, and also you want your Lumix, I should also play, you want your Lumix all the way down to 0 that you see at the bottom. So you're not having the Lumix pull back effect right in. So, and I'm gonna pull the viewer up, and then it seems a bit too magenta, so I'm gonna pull some green back in. Again, we're not trying to get skin tones just yet. We're just trying to get our whites looking correct. Because there's another tool we'll use to get the skin tones correct. So that seems about properly right. And I've also noticed this has changed the whites a little bit. So I'm going to go to the previous node, turn that off, and I'm going to readjust the white point. But again, all we're doing is just matching. So now, so we've got our whites and our blacks and our balance pretty well balanced and controlled. Now, there's a couple things I'm noticing on the waveform is that it's not completely active. So highlights are not as dimensional. So this is what the next node is going to be, and that is our HDR. And I'm going to work in here. And first thing I'm going to take a note is, what I'm going to do is take a note at our levels of the skin. So where is that sitting? So first of all, I noticed that the skin is a little bit lower. So, and I'm going to name this HDR. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the highlight portion and I'm going to raise that up, and the specular highlights as well, to bring that back up. So I'm using the highlight and the specular highlights to raise things and lower things to line up more. This is just all, again, doing fine details to get these to match more. All right. And we go to the viewer. As you can see, we're getting closer. We're getting closer to the look of the Alexa. We can move on to the next node. I know we'll actually skip that. We're going to go here to this one, and this will be our contrast. So this is where we're going to make adjustments to the contrast based on the ARRI Alexa. So the first thing we got to do is change the pivot. The pivot, and you got to want to match the pivot towards where middle gray sits on the ARRI Alexa. And in the case of the ARRI Alexa, it's going to be 0.39 or 39%. So that is the middle gray point. So we're going to just bring this down to 39. And then we're going to just adjust the contrast up and down so we can fill this out a little more to get closer to how this. So we go viewer, so I'll see before, after. Again, this is all very, very subtle changes, but it's all these changes are going to help make it look closer to the Alexa. And then finally, we're going to address the skin tone, because that's where obviously most of this final touch-ups, and also the colors. We're going to take a look at the colors and see how they behave here with this label, which we're going to label as subsat, which is obviously subsaturation. But this we're going to work in which is here, which is our color slice. And this node here is really the thing that I enjoy the most. So we'll pull this. So we're going to take a look at the vector scope now. So I'm pulling up the scopes here really quickly just to show you guys exactly what we're doing. So again, we got the FX3. So again, we got here the FX3, and then we got the Alexa. So one of the main differences that we're doing here is the fact that we need to sort of get the colors in line with it. So as you can see, so obviously the skin is the big thing. So if we see here, the skin tones is definitely more leaning towards red versus the Alexa Mini, which you can see is shifted a little bit more towards yellow. That's an easy. The other thing we want to keep an eye out is all the different colors. So as we can see here, the blue from the Alexa Mini is way more towards the cyan than the FX3. But also if we go to the reds, if we look at the Alexa Mini, the reds are also much more pronounced on the Alexa Mini than the FX3. Again, we're going to fix that. And then the green is actually a deeper tone than the Alexa Mini. So this is what we're going to do to address all of these issues. Here we're going to work with color slice, which is one of my favorite tools from Resolve 19. So first things first, we're going to work the skin tones. So as I mentioned, the skin tones here are way more towards the red. So what we're going to do is going to go to our skin, which will highlight. If I turn this off for a second, it's going to, you'll see it's going to grab the skin tones of the FX3. So we're going to pull this white back on. All right. So now we're going to go to the skin and we're going to push it towards the yellow. The other thing is this is a lot less saturated. So we're going to pull the saturation down, but not by a lot because you don't need to pull this. And then also it has not as much, so we're going to take the density down. Still a bit more on the magenta side, so we're going to swing this a little bit more over. And still a bit too much saturation, so we're going to take this down. Pull this down a little bit more. Let's pull it before. All right. I think that's pretty close. So we're going to wipe. So again, this is the Alexa Mini. This is our FX3. So now let's look at the colors so we can get our colors sort of line up. The first thing I've noticed is that the red and green is way deeper. So we're going to add some density to the green. Actually, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to take away some of that. Now let's see. We're going to bring the density down a little bit more on the green. All right. And then we're going to crank the density on the red. We're going to crank the density on the red. But again, you don't want to do it too much because then you'll create artifacts. So red's looking good. The yellow is on the yellow needs to be just ever so slightly denser, so we're going to make adjustments here. So again, the blue needs to, the big difference is that the blue needs to shift towards cyan. So we're going to go to our blue and we're going to shift this towards cyan. Or and the last thing we're going to do is the shirt. The shirt is a bit, and actually let me see the shirt because it's also the difference in distance. I would say the shirt is a bit more blue, or cyan. I guess we want to, but basically I'm trying to say is we want to shift the cyan a little bit, just ever so slightly to the green. That's better. So if I take this off, as you can see, this is, again, this is the Sony FX3 pretty much balancing the to replicate the look of the ARRI Alexa, and it's not that far off. And again, this is all something that I have done completely free in Davinci Resolve. And there's a couple other things that we can fine tune. You can use some hue versus hues if you want to make some major changes. But I think we're pretty much in the ballpark of what this looks like. And again, it just took me probably what, 30 minutes, just so I could show you guys the different steps I want to do. The other ones that I had, they were sort of like, well, if you needed to make more micro adjustments. So if you wanted to go to an HDR and sort of want to change the colors here, change particularly the shadows or change the colors here, I didn't necessarily see the need to do that for here, but you could do that. Now, I said at the beginning that I actually had something special for those all that stayed at the end. And the thing here is that I have released a whole package for this, that if you guys are interested in just seeing this node tree, have it build out and sort of want to try it yourself, I'm going to have a package on my store, my digital store on Selfie, where a link to the video so you can watch it here. I will show you guys, I'll give you a shell of my node tree so you could do it and make any changes to whatever camera you want. And also I will give you both the FX3 and the Cinema Camera 6K node tree that I built for the Alexa Mini. So if you guys want to take that, and also I will provide you with a LUT for the FX3 as well as a LUT for the Cinema Camera 6K that you guys can, if you want to just throw it on a display, throw it on your monitor so you can get your ARRI Alexa look, it will all be right there. So for you guys. And the price of all of this will be significantly less than what you would pay for just to get the license for just one of these Lumix cameras. So you can use this on your Lumix cameras. You can again build your LUT. I also will provide the videos. If you guys have an FX3 or a cinema camera, I will provide the original files of these videos so you can sort of tinker it how you want to and also create your own look at how you want to make the reference. Anyway, this is going to do it for me. I know this is going to be a really, really long one, but thank you guys for sticking with me because I felt it was really, really important that before you just go out and just pay for this feed, that there is an option where you could just do this on your own. It will take you 30 minutes, at most an hour, and I did this right here with you guys in less than an hour. So basically, go ahead and try it out. If you guys, and also check out that package. I'll leave a link down in the description below for you guys. Check it out. And if you guys want more contents of how to work in Davinci Resolve, leave your comments down below. And also, if you have a camera that you want me to try out, give me a try. If you have a camera and you have the ability to give me a reference video, I can see what I could do. Anyways, I'm rambling right now. Thank you guys for watching. And as always, and until next time, take care, everyone.